guys. Last minute decision. I'm just gonna do my collage pages. I'm behind in all three of my my challenge journals. So I was gonna do my collage pages, and I thought, why not? I'll just go ahead and hit the live button, and I'll go about as if I'm doing a video, talk amongst myself. Unless somebody comes into the chat, and then we'll kind of go from there. Let me make sure that I have my comment window open so I can see. But yeah, I am behind. So I am behind. Let's see, how many weeks in Roxy? Just 1 week in Roxy's weekly challenge. Last week she did journaling cards, but she did like sampler cards, and they had pieces of fabric on them. Not something I would typically use. And I don't really have any pretty fabric. It's all plain, plain white linens. So wouldn't be anything spectacular anyway. 2 weeks behind in Carrie Griffiths. Ooh. So that's yeah. So with this, I will refresh everybody's memory as to what the prompts were supposed to be back here on week 22. So sick week, depression week, current week, which is lazy week. So I'm actually three weeks behind on Carrie. When I'm doing when I'm going over the prompts, I'll figure out whether I'm going to go ahead and do that one for this week. Just do it late. Usually my Carrie videos release on Wednesday mornings. Obviously, it is past Wednesday morning, so I'll have to make that decision as we go. And then my scrap busting. I'm not too far behind in Gail. I think I'm just a week behind. And I didn't do hers last week because she did Roxy's weekly challenge. That was her scrap busting. Was the same thing that Roxy did, or Rachel at Roxy's did. So I didn't do hers last week. So I have 1 page to do in hers. Now Melina is still on hiatus. I know she had done a community post talking about how she got really burned out and was going to be she took a break and then was going to be slowing down on doing videos. And as of that last community post, she had not decided, or at least had not announced yet, what videos she was going to come back doing. So far, it is not scrap busting. So it's not M Scrap Buster. So here we are. But because she's been on vacation, she had her ministry, some graduations, some illness. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of collage for her. So we're going to be here a bit. So come and hang out with me. I'm not doing anything, like I said, I'm not doing anything spectacular. I'm just going to be collaging in each of these books, which I was going to be doing whether I was on camera or off. So I figured, hey, might as well hit the live button and bring you guys along for the ride. So things here, I don't know, things are things. I'm definitely dealing with a lot of my own issues with depression. I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm on the struggle bus. Still trying to kind of, normally I would just craft my way out of it, in the sense that I would just get into my craft room and just make stuff until, I pulled myself out of it. Well, I'm not pulling out of it this time around. So if I continue to avoid the craft room, I might never not get back in here. So that's not really an option. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up because I want this. I'm going to put that in behind there. And yeah, my daughter's going through it too, which that doesn't help my mentality any, knowing that one of my children is, having a hard time. Such is the life, of a mother. That is plain white paper. We don't need to worry about collage and plain white paper. Just looking through I've got a stack of papers over here off to the side. Specifically for collage. Well, it's scraps. It's all, from all the different projects that I've been working on or trying to work on. So kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't want the scrapbook paper though. It's a little thick for this kind of a project. I haven't been feeling very well, either. Whatever illness that rocked my GI system several weeks ago seems to still be causing me issues. So I haven't felt well in several weeks. But again, like I said, it's kind of plugging along. Dealing with the frustration of YouTube. Because this time last year, I discovered that one of the videos of my granddaughter had fallen into the creepy side of YouTube. And I pulled the video down. And that was just it. I checked the analytics. I was, just playing on my analytics one day, and I was going, from one video to the next and looking at the analytics of each individual video, like seeing who the audience is it the subscribers, and just trying to figure out, like a direction, trying to figure out what my subscribers like, what are they watching, what type of content has the most kind of views. And yeah, I discovered the EU factor and immediately pulled the video down. Well, that resulted in a 600, just over 600 hours of my watch hours right off the top disappeared. Well, and I was hoping that that was, that was going to be the end of it. And, it's like, okay, the video is gone. Don't have to worry about it. That kind of stuff. Well, fast forward to now, a year later, and over the course of just a few days, my sub count dropped 705 hours. And I was like, what in the world is happening here? What is going on? And it was the rolling 365 days, and it was like, and so I kind of had a suspicion that what was happening was more of those hours were dropping off. And Muzz got on the phone, on the horn with Google for me, because I was so beyond it was so beyond my mental capacity to even contemplate dealing with that. That she offered to help me out a little bit. And yeah, it's what I suspected. So it appears that even after I took that video down, the creepy side of YouTube continued to watch my channel for several weeks after. I imagine checking out other videos, hoping they could find something else for their viewing. And then when they realized there was nothing else on my channel that would interest their particular proclivities, they stopped watching. Thank goodness they stopped watching. I'm glad they left. But what that has boiled down to is that here we are a year later, and those hours are now falling off. And so, sorry, I'm dropping paper. Boom, boom, boom. 705 hours. Gone. So I'm trying to find the peace in that, because I'm glad that when my channel finally does get monetized, that it will have nothing to do with that side of YouTube, that none of those hours will be going toward my monetization. But man, at the same time, it's so frustrating, because I was at 1,800, just a little over 1,000 left to go, and now I'm way back at like 1,100. So a little frustrating, more than a little frustrating, if I'm being honest. But like you said, I'm glad at the same time. I am still glad that those hours are gone, and I don't have to worry about them anymore. I mean, not that I don't have to worry about that side of YouTube, because there's always going to be creepertons. And they will, they're creeps. They're going to find their content in whatever video is posted. Even the most innocent of videos can be used nefariously, based on the viewer, obviously. Waiting for my Fabri-Tac. I think it's time to fill my bottle too. That doesn't help. It's taking forever for my glue to get down there. So there's that frustration. But I have some great friends that are working on helping me out, sharing my videos, which I greatly appreciate. And I know that, it's just a matter of finding my people, finding. Okay, this is frustrating. It's about getting into the right algorithm, right? Sorry, I'm fighting with my glue at the moment. But yeah, finding landing, landing in the correct algorithm. I was like, when it happened before, I'm like, at first I thought, that I had landed in the right algorithm, only to discover that I really landed in the wrong one. I landed in an algorithm that I didn't want to be in. So I covered up the date when that should have been. So pull up my calendar real quick. If I can get all the stuff out of the way so my mouse will work. So this would have been $518. $525. We're gonna write it down there, so I have to do that again. Hopefully everybody is hearing me. Hopefully the sound is good on the replay. I keep noticing that my little Wi-Fi bars keep dropping down to like a minuscule dot. And I know when I'm doing lives with my daughter, that usually only means anything for me. Like everybody can hear me fine, but I can't hear her. She, is completely robotic on my end, but people that are in the comments and, on the replay can hear it just fine. So I'm going to move forward as if, because if I have another day of having to deal with my electronics not working, I might lose it. Sorry, I was getting another glue stick. This one is at the very end of its life. Not much left in there. Yeah, yesterday was frustrating. Oh my gosh. So our live stream was supposed to start at 6, right? So at 5:30, I came in and booted up my computer. Came into the studio, connected with Minnie, and robot. So I'm like, all right, well, that's why I charged my Surface because I want to try and see if that makes a difference. See if it, because last week when I pulled it up on my phone, I was able to hear just fine. That's how we knew that it would work. But there was a delay, and that was driving me even crazier having the delay. So I'm like, okay, well, the Surface Pro is newer and faster than my laptop. So I got it all nice and charged up, and was planning on just, if doing, well, let me back up. I did a full factory reset on my laptop, hoping that would make a difference. But I charged my Surface Pro just in case. And no, resetting my laptop didn't make a darn bit of difference. Still robotic. So I grabbed the Surface Pro and started booting it up, moved the time to 6:15 because I knew I wasn't going to have it, it wasn't going to be up in time, and I knew that. Or at least I had a reasonable expectation that it wouldn't boot up that quickly, because it had been forever. I couldn't even tell you when the last time was the Surface had been turned on. So I knew it was going to, want to go through all the blah, 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 blah. Well, didn't account for it wanting to do a Microsoft update. So I get it booted up, and I get logged into StreamYard. I'm like, what is the lump? It's the knot from the thread. I get it logged into StreamYard, and it immediately goes into update mode, and it wants to update Microsoft. And we know, everybody knows what an adventure that is, right? When you have good, it's an adventure when you have good Wi-Fi. Well, when you have country Wi-Fi, needless to say, it got put aside because there was no way, and I ended up moving. I think we ended up starting the live at 6:30. But was so on the verge of just canceling it altogether because by the time I got it up, I was so frustrated. And so if you watched that live yesterday, I'm sure, I kind of started it with, because that was definitely how I was feeling at that point. Very frustrated and very annoyed with it all. As if I didn't, already have stuff that was annoying the daylights out of me. So, I don't like how this is a solid line coming down here. So I'm going to get just another piece of paper. We're just going to go right over where that straight line, because I ended up with a straight line going, straight line going down the center where everything lined up. So just kind of put something jaggedy over all of them, and then it breaks that line up. You guys let me know in the comments either, if you pop in at the live stream, or if you're watching on replay, please let me know in the comments if you enjoy watching this. Because if you do, I've got a whole bunch of books that I need to collage anyway. And if you guys enjoy the collaging, I don't mind doing it for you guys and do it live, so that way, we have people to talk to. Okay, and then 6-1 is the next one. Oh. It's so hard to imagine how far behind you can get when you're not paying attention to how far behind you're getting. I didn't realize it had been this long since Melina had done a Scrapbuster video, number one. I didn't realize it had been that long since I had worked in any of my journals. Let's go this way. Let's try to decide where to put that. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of like hospital books, sales magazines, stuff that comes in the mail that I do this collaging in, and I make masterboards out of them for future projects. So let me know if that's something that you guys want to sit and chat with me while I do. I got to do it regardless. So, yeah. If there's interest in me doing it live, then I will, and if not, I will just do it on my own time. I may film it and just upload it as, I don't know. But so give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. Oops. I spent some time this morning working on creating some thumbnail bases for these challenges, so that way I can pull up, say, the scrap busting template, the base, and then just edit just a little bit to add the pictures of that week's project onto the thumbnail to hopefully help also finding the algorithm. I keep seeing the numbers on my chat go up and then disappear, and then up and then disappear. So people are popping in. They're just not hanging out. Which is fine. I'm sure a lot of it, given the the current algorithm that I am in, I'm sure it's certain people little hate watchers. Because honestly, I mean, if it was people that liked my content, they would stop in and say hi. They would hang out and watch, right? So if you're in the bushes, feel free to jump into the comments and say hi. I'm just hanging out in my craft room, trying to get myself motivated to do anything. Supposed to go to town today to get a little bit of shopping done because I need dragon food. But I don't feel up to driving. So, I don't know. I've got stuff growing of that I can feed them, so it's not like they're going to go hungry. And obviously that I have plenty of proteins for them. I just they won't have their usual greens, but come on, unstick. Hello to the bushwatcher. Come on in, have a chat. It's funny, where did that red come from? That's crazy. Crazy. I mean, is this interesting or is this boring? This is, mindless crafting. This is what, I normally do when I'm in a rut and am, struggling to get myself going. Is I usually just come in and collage, and it usually pulls me out of it. Usually. Not so much this time. Got some more Japanese paper. Very thin, very fragile. Hear that tear. This can be thrown away. You have to be careful with this paper because it sticks very easily to the glue pages and then it doesn't like to come off. And I end up, with it glued down. At a bookstore. That's funny. What is at a bookstore? Oh, my computer screen just blinked. because this is a nice weird shape, I'm going to save it so that I can glue it over the top of something down here. But what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to glue it all the way down, so that way I can put stuff up underneath it. That is a collage trick. So, for example, I can then put stuff up underneath here and slide it up under, right? And then glue it down. Ah! Get off of there. Get off of there. I'm looking forward to my doctor's appointment, ironically enough, coming up here in a couple weeks. Muzz has talked about, most people, when they go to the doctor, they really kind of hope for not, being told, oh, well, you have this or you have that or whatever. But I get it, because I'm in the same boat. When you have a chronic issue, you get really tired of hearing, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. There's nothing wrong. That one really gets me. There's nothing wrong. Really? There's nothing wrong. Why do I feel like this? Why am I experiencing XYZ if there's nothing wrong? So you see how I did that? And now I can go and put glue up on here and glue that down. So, last night was a really productive night with the critters. We're still not full integration. Lene very much is still not too keen on all the animals. Which is interesting because, she was around dogs in her previous location. She's having some difficulty adjusting to mine. Arrow mostly. I don't even think Lily has realized that there's another cat in the house. I mean, honestly, she can't see her. Can't hear her. Don't know she can smell her. So she has not even even remotely acknowledged another cat in the house. Lizzie is all about trying to get to her food. She's like, I don't care that you brought an animal home. I just want that food. And so she has been, hell-bent on getting into the cat food, which is a nightmare for me because little Miss Food allergies would most likely react horribly to the cat food. In all likelihood, she'd have some sort of reaction and try eating her paws off again. So we're having to stay on top of her when she's in the house, about sneaking. Because right now, because the cat and the cats are not, yeah, not yet. Lola is not having it. She's pretty grumpy about it, to be honest. And so far, I'm having to have everything separate, including the litter box and the food and everything. So her Lene's box, I have the tent that I use for my dragons to be able to let them play safely outside their enclosures. That's what I have Lene's stuff in. So her her food is in there, her makeshift litter box is in there, and her water. And so until we reach a point where she can go into the bedroom without Lola trying to eat her, we will have a separate box. I'm hoping they adjust because I really don't want to have separate boxes. I don't want to prove my husband right. And it wouldn't really be proving him right, because I've said from the get-go that it 100, whether we have to have a second litter box, 100% depends on Lola, because our litter box is in our bedroom closet, which is in her domain. And until she allows Lene to go into the bedroom, she doesn't have access to the food bowl. She doesn't have access to the litter box, the main ones. So we are stuck having to have ones separate for now. But I'm hoping that changes. And I do keep, when Lene is out, which isn't very often so far, she does spend a lot of time hanging out either under my couch or behind my couch. She tends to come out at night when everybody has settled down. I had a thought there. What was my thought? It disappeared. I take her in and show her where the litter box is in the bedroom, and I put her in the closet and close the doors, so that way she's in there by herself, and I don't have to worry about Lola going in there and like trying to do anything to her, or surprise, there's a cat in here. And there being a cat fight in the middle of the night. Almost was last night, which was quite interesting. Because like I said, Lene comes out at night when everybody else is in bed. So she was up roaming the house, kind of checking stuff out last night. And she went into the laundry room. I mean, this doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot because you guys don't know the layout of my house, but she went into the laundry room, and I went into my bedroom to see where Lola was in relation to, and because I was like, oh no, my husband is sleeping. The last thing we need right now is a cat fight. So I went in to see where Lola was, and she was in the bathroom, which is right next to the laundry room. And then Arrow came up right behind me. So Lola was stuck in the bathroom, sandwiched between Lene, who was in the laundry room, and Arrow, who's standing in the doorway of my bedroom. Now, Lola has never had an issue with Arrow. They've lived together for a long time, but being sandwiched between the two last night, she had an issue with that. There was a lot of hissing, a lot of growling, running back and trying to figure out how to get past either one of them. And so I had to like shoo Arrow away so that Lola could, quick like a fox, run out of the bathroom, and go hide under the bed. So yeah, things are moving along with the kitties. I knew it was going to be a slow pace, and it's just going to have to be. It's going to have to be at their pace. And Lene still has her nails. Lola does not. So, if Lola decides she wants to go on the attack, she will probably regret that decision quite quickly. So we'll see where it goes. So Arrow last night was super cute and loving toward Lene. He's cute. He's like, he doesn't quite know what to do with everything. He's like following her around the house, just whimpering and whining, and then she'd turn and look at him, and he'd just like lay down and stare at her. They got within inches of each other last night, which was cool. She was hanging out, scratching on her post, and I'm like, no, I mean inches, nose to nose with her, and she was just sitting there, and then out of nowhere, she just hisses it, just a quick hiss, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and then he's like backed off. He's chased enough stray cats to know what that means, what hissing means, and to back off from it, because he has taken more than a few swipes to the nose from the stray cats. I mean, he doesn't know that Lene still has her nails, obviously, because we haven't gone to blows like that. But hopefully we don't. He seems to have a pretty good, healthy respect for her hissing, and backs off without one of us having to intervene and, redirect him. So I am good with how things are going. Okay. So this is the last one for Melina. It is currently Thursday, so we'll see if she does a scrap busting this week. If not, we'll be back to do some more collaging. And the rest of hers may be collage the rest of the year for her. I don't know. We'll see. So Melina's is done, cut up. Let's jump over here to Gail. See, and she did collage covers this week. No, collage covers this week. This was week 22. doing these little notebooks. And then 23 is where I'm behind. So I actually have this page and this page to do. So I have 2. I'll go ahead and pull this off for right now. Get that paper clip out the way. Just a second. Oops. You have to get down into my scraps down there. Oh no. I totally. Urch. Darn it. Again, working on a challenge. And I harvested without starting the challenge. That was 2 hours wasted. You set my alarm for 2 more hours. Oh yeah, let's plug that back in. Oh, did I said to wait a minute? Open. I set my alarm for 2 minutes and not 2 hours. So, collage covers. So this was 511. So the 518. I'm going to pull some scraps. All right. Again, I've got very thick scrapbook paper mixed in with these, so I will be skipping those. This is an Edith Holden page. They are somewhat thick, but not quite scrap paper thick, not quite cardstock thick. But they are thicker than your standard book page. But I love her pages. Isn't that beautiful? Look at it. The writing in her books. I love them. It's kind of the crown jewel, so to speak, of the junk journaling world. Everybody covets Edith Holden books. So when we find them, we buy them, and people have multiples in their stash. I actually have two. I have an English one and I have a German one over on my shelf. This is the very first one that I bought, that I clearly have cut up and used, but who was that? I'm trying to remember. There is a YouTuber that I watched that did a cover-to-cover Edith Holden ephemera. So for every page in the book, she made ephemera. So pockets, tags, journaling cards, belly bands, so on and so forth, out of the entire book. And so it inspired me, and I was going to actually recreate her series, and I haven't done it yet. What is her name? Her husband's usually in the background working on stuff. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to like search my YouTube. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Again, I'm pulling the scrapbook paper out. I have wallpaper. That could be fun. Wallpaper does tear. Not as easily as regular paper. Obviously, it's got that, whatever wallpaper is made out of, plasticky type coating on it. But it does tear. As you just saw, I was able to tear this just fine. Okay. More scrapbook paper. So, doctor's appointment coming up, eye appointment coming up. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be so grateful to be able to get new glasses. Although, hopefully, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work, because it's going to fall into deductible zone, and whether or not I have the cash to do it, we shall see. So cardstock. Ooh, lots of cardstock. This is all cardstock. Whoop! That I just flung all over the place. I flung it right out my lap. I guess I didn't fling it out of my lap. I flung it into my lap. It's funny, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, when Tina asked the question on her channel, when people do collage, do you do straight lines or do you prefer torn lines? And I'm like, I don't know that I really have a preference one way or the other. I don't know that I like mixing them, however, like doing some straight edges and then some torn edges. It seemed like if I'm going to do straight edges, I'm going to do all straight edges. If I'm going to do them torn edges, it's going to be all torn. I think I have them all. I haven't even made it through one book yet. And I've been on here for an hour. But the other ones, I don't have that. Well, actually, I think I do. So I don't have that many to do, but I do actually. So there was week 22. Week 23 would be June 8th again. We're going to say June 8th. Ish. I'm going to go ahead and collage with you just this one more, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera because, Oh, hey, Mona. That's all right. It was a last-minute decision on whether or not to do this live. I figured I'm going to be doing it regardless, so might as well hit the live button, and if people popped in, they pop in. If they don't, they'll catch it on replay if they choose to. What you up to today? I'm just trying to craft myself into a smile. Relaxing. It always trips me out to think, oh yeah, it's nighttime for you. Because it's only 2 p.m. for me. It's like, oh yeah. And this is very reminiscent of, I've been working on some thumbnails, creating thumbnails this morning. And so it's a lot of, doing collage stuff on Canva they've got really cool images on Canva of like torn paper. So I collaged their images and created some thumbnail templates, for lack of a better word. Bases, backgrounds. So that way all I have to do is add the picture of the current project. That's crazy. Well, and I know that when I've done lives with my daughter, 6:00 at night here, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning for you. So it's 11 there. So you are 9 hours. 9 hours ahead of me. But are you still Thursday? Oops, I have a tag in there. Today is Thursday, right? Oh my gosh, no, I'm like second guessing myself. Yes, today's Thursday. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm waiting till tomorrow to go to the store anyway, since I'll be going to the post office tomorrow to send a package to Miss Kitty for about 10 more minutes. Okay, so that's good for me to know, though, that you're legitimately only 9 hours ahead of me, not like 9 hours and a day, or whatever. That was one of the funny things, when we lived in Guam, on Guam, however you want to say that, because it's on the other side of the international date line. When we would travel back to the U.S., it'd be like, we arrive a day after, or we arrive in the United States the day before we left. So we leave Guam on a Thursday and we arrive in the United States 12 hours earlier and the day before. So it was always fun. People are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's the joys of living on the other side of the international date line. Caused some hiccups for my family because I got married over there. And so come back to the United States and everybody was confused as to what my actual wedding date was. Yeah, so it's like we're time travelers. When we would come back to the States, we always joked about being time travelers because travel backwards in time. I miss living on a tropical island, but boy, I do not miss living on I do not miss living on a tropical island, but I miss living on a tropical island. I miss the beauty that comes along with living on a tropical island, but I don't miss the weather. I definitely don't miss the typhoons. I don't miss the deadly bugs. I don't miss the poisonous spiders. I don't miss the monitor lizard. I don't miss none of the creatures from there. But yeah, I miss the beauty of it. Guam is in the Marianas Trench. It is south of Hawaii. Southwest, I think, of Hawaii. little tiny island. It is 4 miles wide, 12 miles long, military base on each end of the island. um, speed limit, top speed limit on the entire island is 35 miles an hour. And you don't, if you're going to be stationed in Guam, you're going to move to Guam, you do not ship your nice vehicle over there because it will not be nice by the time you leave the island, because the roads are made of coral, and so they salt the roads and on a daily basis, and it will eat the living daylights out of the underside of your vehicle. In fact, the day that I arrived there, my husband had a little Suzuki Samurai, and he picked me up at the airport, and literally the floorboard of the vehicle didn't exist. So as we were driving down the road, I could look down, between my feet, and I could see the road traveling underneath us, because the entire floorboard of the Suzuki was gone because of the salted roads. Yeah, I lived there. We lived there. So he went over in early 89. And then I graduated high school that June and moved to the island after my 18th birthday. So August of that same year. And then got married in October of that year. So yes, my husband and I are high school sweethearts. We have been together since I was 16. Got married when I was 18. He was 19. We got married by a judge wearing a fish tie. Our witnesses were perfect strangers because our witnesses didn't bother to show up to the courthouse. Yeah. Once a year, the beaches are not accessible because the jellyfish run come in, and gosh, I'm 2 weeks behind. So yes, I am 2 weeks behind on Carrie. And you can't swim in the ocean when the jellyfish are there because they will sting you, and it is not a pleasant experience. Hey, Maz. Well, I guess I'll stay on for a while. Yes. Yep. Funny story. So, him and I were in French together, and we had been since the beginning of the school year. And neither one of us ever paid the other any mind. We ran in different circles. We didn't have friends in common. Had no clue. Never, no idea who the other person was. And it was a Friday night football game, and nothing else to do when you live in a tiny itty-bitty little town. Even if you hate football, you go to the football game, right? Well, I went to the football game, and I went to use the bathroom, and there was a group of girls in there, and one of them is, praying to the porcelain god, while the other friends are trying to pry a bottle of Jack Daniels out of her hand. And she is throwing up and throwing a fit at the same time because, she was saving the alcohol for her boyfriend, who was currently on the football field. And anyway, there are people that I knew of, but again, were not my circle of people. But they were like, hey, can you, she needs to go home. Can you go find her brother for us? And I'm like, well, sure, if you tell me who the heck her brother is. Because I didn't know who she was. She's actually, so my sister-in-law is a year behind me. And so they told me who he was, and I was like, okay, well, I'll see if I can find him. I don't know who he is, but I'll see, somebody's got to know him. Somebody's, And so I'm walking all over the football field. Hey, do you know where I need to find, and it's like, it was like on the Where's Waldo, yeah, he's over there. So I'd get all the way over to where he was last seen, and then he's not there anymore, and he's moved over there. And I'm chasing him all over the football field, the stadium, trying to get a hold of him. Finally, I catch up to him. And I said, hey, your sister's in the bathroom. She's throwing up. She's drunk as a skunk. And she needs to go home. Said her friend sent me to find you. So walked back to the bathrooms with him. And then he's like, hey, can you help me get her? Can you help me get her in the truck? And I'm like, sure, no problem. Helped him get her into the vehicle and then went about my business. Didn't think anything else of it. Well, I show up for school. Yeah, she became my sister-in-law. Became my arch nemesis, actually. Show up for school the next Monday. And we're standing outside class waiting for the teacher. And I'm like, hey, I know you. And that was kind of where it all began. We started kind of we talked in class for a couple weeks after that. And then when he decided that he wanted to ask me to go out with him, he actually went and talked to my ex-boyfriend first. It's kind of one of the funny little things. And, said, hey, can you tell me a little bit about her? Da, 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 da. And Brad's response to him was, she is going to drive you crazy. She is going to piss you the off. But go for it because she's worth it. Together ever since. And yes, she became my sister-in-law. Shocked people. We hated each other all through high school. And a lot of it was just because, because she was the little sister. His parents made him take her places. He had the license, he had, vehicle. And so it was like, hey, take your sister here, take your sister there. Well, there was small town crap. It was suddenly she had to tag along with us everywhere we went. And she always got to sit in the front seat because her dad said that, that's sorry, it's your sister. Too bad, so sad. So I was always stuck in the back seat. She went everywhere we went. We never had any time, until we kind of figured out that how to ditch her without her parents knowing. And, she was okay with it. She didn't want to hang out with us either. But it was, about not wanting to get in trouble. So she did it. But we started finding ways to drop her off in secret. And as long as she didn't get into any trouble, her parents didn't know any different. And as long as we didn't get into any trouble, which unfortunately we did a few times, more times than a few, had some run-ins with law enforcement and stuff. But so yeah, there was a lot of animosity that was associated with that, because it was like, man, I'm sick and tired of her always having to be around. Which got, I said that, and see, and I'm the annoying little sister in my family, so but there's 10 years difference between me and my oldest sister, and like 7 between me and my next youngest sister. So we weren't even in school at the same time. But again, small town life, didn't matter. I was so and so's little sister, so people couldn't like me simply because of who my sisters were. But a lot of animosity between his sister and I for a lot of years. And then when her husband at the time got stationed at the same military base that we were at in Illinois, it was like there was no base housing. It was full. And so they needed somewhere to live. We had room. And so it was like, go ahead and take the spare bedroom. Shocked the living daylights out of everybody that knew either side of us, because it was like, oh my gosh, she's living with you? What? But so her husband lived in the barracks because he could live there for free, and she lived with us while he was stationed there for training. So we kind of developed a better relationship then, and we are back to not having one now. And that's simply because she is a raging alcoholic, completely denies that she has a drinking problem, lies about it. And I'm like, you don't get 4 DUIs if you're sober. Sorry. She's got like 7 DUIs in like 3 different states. So, yeah, but she doesn't have a drinking problem. There's a lot. Needless to say, I don't speak with her. He obviously still does. That's his sister, but the whole family is kind of standoffish with her because of the circumstance. But yeah. And my oldest sister is planning, she will be here next month. She is going to be flying up and spending a week with, okay, hold on, let me back up. There's 4 of us sisters that are all full biological, same set of parents. I have a half sister who was my mom's child that my mom gave up for adoption when she was an infant. So we're trying to get my oldest, my half sister, to see if she can come out and visit with us on this trip. She lives out in New Hampshire. So whether or not she'll be able to come out, we don't know yet. But my oldest biological sister is flying up from California, and she'll spend a week with number 2, who lives in Idaho. Spend a week with her, and then that sister will drive oldest sister here, and she'll spend a week with me here, and then we will take her to the airport and she'll fly home. She has not been to Washington in 15 years. Yeah. Oh, Mona, gosh. I won't go into like everything, but there's there's a lot. The drinking is just like the pinnacle of why we don't speak. Um, her own daughters don't talk to her. That, is any slight indication. But yeah, so she'll spend a week in Idaho with sister number 2, come here and spend a week with me, and then we'll take her home. Sister number 3 is trying to see if she can fly up, especially if the half sister, if she can make the trip out, for sure we will definitely make it happen. But sister number 3 is trying to get see if she can come up during the week so she can spend some time with us, because it's very rarely that we're all together. In fact, it was like, she was like, the last time, my oldest sister was like, the last time we were all together was back in, da 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 da, and this may be our last time. And I'm like, oh, don't say that. Don't wish that into existence. Don't speak that into existence. But, I get where she's coming from, because, she's got a lot of medical stuff that could potentially be fatal. And, we're all getting old. So, yes, Mona. Both of my parents were alcoholics. My grandfather on my dad's side was an alcoholic. 3, well, even my half sister turned out to be she was an alcoholic at one point. All 3 of my biological sisters have had issues with alcohol. 2 of them are sober. 1 is not. All 3 of my sisters have had issues with the hardcore stuff. As far as I know, all of them are off any kind of substances, hardcore substances. But yeah, it was definitely my family history that directed my educational path. I mean, we all live in different states. Yes and no. So my oldest, my half sister, lives in New Hampshire. My next oldest, my first full biological, and my third biological sister both live in California. My second biological sister lives in Idaho, and I'm in Washington. We were all born in different states, though. That's kind of, the life of military is that, in fact, my sister number 2, biological sister number 2, was born in a completely different country than the rest of us. The rest of us are all U.S. babies, but she was born in England. Oh, Moni, again, you don't know the half of it. I've talked with Muzz a little bit, and I'm like, about the only reason that I have not ever really talked about my whole family history, my dynamics, and the relationship I had with certain people in my family, is out of respect for my sisters who listen to my channel, as well as my nieces who have a different perspective as to who, specifically who my mother was. But while yes, I've talked with Muzz about that, she doesn't know like all of, she doesn't know my history. She just knows that I struggle with wanting to tell my story, but not wanting to tell my story, not feeling comfortable to tell my story. Exactly. It doesn't make anyone. Yep. Ugh. Oh, my mouse isn't working because it's not on. So yes, we're going to be chatting. I guess I can put comments up on screen. Maybe. There we go. Just going to fold that over there. I still can't believe how far I was behind on these. I know, you never put comments up on the screen. So there was one brother, excuse me. He died when I was 7. He was 11. So he died in 1979. That's true. That's true. You would get behind. I don't disagree with that statement. Okay, so caught up with Carrie. So yeah, I was saying earlier that I spent some time this morning creating some thumbnail backgrounds. I don't know what else to call them. So that way I can when I take pictures of what I worked on, I can just add that to the background. So yeah, I just got to get caught up on everything so I can start using them, because yeah, I'm behind on everything. Templates, that works. You know, put some colors in there, and some attention grabbing colors, because I have been doing some reading on like how to what to do to make your channel more noticeable. And one of the things that was suggested was to use well, it said, if you notice that YouTube's color schematics are reds, greens, and blacks. So if your thumbnails contain blue, green, orange, and yellow, or it helps stand out against the YouTube backgrounds. I'm like, well, I can't stand yellow. I don't like green. so I don't know. We'll see. I said, I'm still struggling with the reality of where things are with my channel, and I'm struggling to want to continue making content, but I'm here and I'm not giving up yet. Yeah, I used Canva. I was playing in Canva this morning. So I was saying they've got a whole bunch of shredded paper. So I did some thumbnail templates of little collages Yeah. I'm like, not like I said, I'm about 99% sure that what I was thinking happened is what was happening. When I was talking to Kitty about it, and I'm like, and all things considered, you know, I'm glad those hours are gone, because when I do finally get monetized, I definitely would. I'm happier knowing that when I get monetized, none of those hours will have had anything to do with it. But it still stings. One of the other crafting people that I watch, she's running on a loop too, and she's trying to get hours, and she's like, maybe you could do the same for me, and I'm like, absolutely. So I added her to I have a playlist that's just labeled, it's called Loop. So I have my son, Kitty, and this other content creator, Junk Journal Diva. Got videos for all three of them into a playlist that's got like 100, I think there's like 123 videos in it now, and it just plays on the phone 24/7. Just keep my phone plugged in, keep the video playing on a loop. I'm still debating on whether to take my spare phone, my other spare phone, to my husband's work and log in using his Wi-Fi. So it has a different IP address. I'm having some weird things going on too. So I've got, so I have my main phone, my new one that I use, but I have two other phones that don't have, they don't have a SIM card in them, but I can still access Wi-Fi on them. So I've got one in the living room playing, and I've got one here in my craft room that's playing. The one in my craft room, every time it gets to the end of the loop, even though it's set, to automatically restart, it gets to the end, and rather than restarting, it actually disconnects from my house Wi-Fi and connects to my my printer, and then says you don't have internet access. And I'm like, well, stop. Yeah, and what I've been reading, and Reddit is very helpful. There's an entire subreddit that's specifically for answering questions about YouTube, asking questions and getting answers about YouTube. Is each content creator, so I can watch my own videos 3 times, and those 3 times will count as views. Anything beyond that doesn't count as a view after that. I thought I was done. I still have a piece up here. And it does say that they track IP addresses. That's how they know, like the fake views, like when you go to channels and they're like, oh, here's 30 new subscribers. Like that one that happened with Jules that one time. That guy came in and gave a bunch of hours, and then like the next day YouTube took them all back. That is tracking part of the IP address tracking. When suddenly they've got a bunch coming in from a completely different country that have never watched your channel before, they go, what? So I did learn that through reading all the stuff. And, they're like, so, by having people within your own house, because it has the same IP address, could potentially cause the same thing to happen. Like when they do the review of your hours, they may take them away because it's the same IP address, even if it's under a different account. But I don't know. We'll find out because I'm like, duh, my husband's computer is home all day while he's at work. Why am I not using it? Which is funny because I did that yesterday, and he gets home and suddenly, there's all these recommendations on his timeline for my content, and he's never gotten them before. And he's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, sorry, I used your account today. But that also means that people that follow, things that he watches and people that he follows, if I keep doing that on his, my channel will start getting recommended people that follow him. So, I mean, maybe I'll gain some people that in that direction, but we'll see. Let me catch up here. Run both of them. Yours pauses mid-video. That's weird. I've contemplated getting a VPN, but it's all well and good that the first month is free, but I can't pay for it after that. So I mean, my cable / internet right now costs me $200 something a month as it is. Can't get my husband to turn it off, even though it's like I'm never in the living room watching TV anymore. I'm usually in my craft room watching stuff on the Roku. There's, I'm like, why are we paying this exorbitant amount of money for this service? A different one, what? Oh, use it for views from I gotcha. I'm like, did I miss something? I will answer your other question in just a second. Let's see. Okay, so this is you, Kitty, Mona, or you, Kitty, Rhonda, who's the Junk Journal Diva, and then me using my husband's computer, all playing my videos. That's this jump right here. Not sure what that one. That was a good spike. But yeah, it's helping. But gossip about what? Gossip about what? Because I don't want to gossip about this crap. I mean, I wouldn't mind talking about TV shows while I'm doing this. Things we watch, movies, that kind of stuff for sure. My books are getting so fat. So this is Roxy's Creations. And so I'm just now coming to the end. I got one more week before I move into the second signature, but look how fat it is already. This is Carrie's. So still pretty thin. Marguerite Miller, the one that I do with Sam. Still pretty thin. And then my scrap busting. So Gail is in front and Melina is in the back. Little chunky monkeys. I'm glad to be caught up at least. I'm then like looking up at the books going, oh my gosh, each week that goes by, Laura, you're getting a little further behind. You're going to get so far behind, it's going to be overwhelming, and then you're not going to want to get caught up. And you're going to quit. So next week, or if I choose to do it this week, these were my prompts that I was supposed to do for Carrie a couple weeks ago. A wrapper, nature, frame, art, and an icon. I was trying to remind myself what Marguerite Miller was next week. See if there was any overlapping. But nope. So I don't know if I'm going to put this collage together or just wait till next week. I don't know. Anything spring to mind? Not very many. See, I find it weird that suddenly I've got a lot of male audience. Like my male audience is now 50%, whereas just like last week it was almost 100% female. And I've now got a lot of viewers in the 25 to 44 ranges. So I don't know. It's let's see. Yeah, I usually get like between like maybe 2 to 5 2 to 5 views. My driving chats, I might get 10 if I'm lucky. The ones where I show my animals, they're usually shorts or short videos, like a minute and a half videos or shorts. And those seem to get a decent amount of views. But again, the shorts don't count. So okay. How do you set up an unlisted StreamYard, though? I don't know how to do that. Like set it up like you're going to go live, but rather than go live, just send you the link so that we talk backstage? Is that what you mean? Hello to the Bushwatchers. Change. Okay. I've never done that before, so I'm sure it'll make sense once I'm in there doing it. But I don't have anything else to chit chat about right now. So I'm all caught up on my books. Hopefully, hopefully they start doing some stuff that I'm like inspired by. I'm tired of collaging, and that seems to be all that people are wanting to do right now. And I'm like, ugh. It's not really an idea for an idea book, the constant collaging, but yeah. Alrighty, I will do that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one since I'm all done. Ugh. Clean my clean my mess. I love having the silicone mat. I love that it's black because everything else shows up really well, but so does the mess. Like, I see. Oops. Sorry about that. I can see like all the dirt. I can see all the glue. I can see everything. Ugh. Whoops. I totally just missed my table. Went to put those on and missed the edge of the table, and down the floor they went. All right. So thanks for popping in, guys. Those of you that are still hanging out in the bushes, thanks for watching. Replay crew, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we, or me, I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.